party started. High def with the professional.
Greasy Says.
What up, everybody? And welcome back to Greasy Says. Greasy Says. It's the show, my show, about being a brown game developer for 15 years. Trials and tribulations. Some failures, some jubilations. But mostly a whole lot of learning. And I aims to pass on that learning to you folks. Whether you're new to games, breaking into games, an old head like me in games for a while, jaded fuck like me in games for a while, a person who appreciates potty-mouthed humor, this show's for you. My name is Greasy, aka M-Cue. And like I've said many times before in many episodes, but maybe you're new here and you don't know, but I've been doing this video game stuff for a long time. I've been a QA guy all the way up to creative lead on a project. I've done all kinds of shit, seen all angles of this industry. And I realize that there's not a lot of stuff that we talk about in this industry. In hushed corners, perhaps, but not en masse, as we should. And there are some things that need to change, thank you very much, in the gaming industry. And that's what I want to talk about. And that's what you want to hear because you're here. Greasy Says, the greatest video game podcast on earth. Well, let me plug my shit real quick. You can always find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook under Greasy Says. That's GreasySays. You can also find my music on Spotify, Bandcamp, and Soundcloud under M-Cue, M-Cue. I got a lot of stuff. I promised last week that I would continue my E3 coverage. My super now 4-week late E3 coverage that everyone is probably knows everything. But you get to get my fucking lukewarm takes on shit going on in E3. For example, Dead Space 4 is a thing. I didn't know that. Did y'all know that? I didn't know that. I played 1 to death because that shit was amazing. I played 2 for sure. I missed 3 because it was like all about multiplayer. From my perspective, it seemed like it was all about multiplayer. So I was like, I'm good. But 4, a super obscure fucking trailer, no gameplay, very fucking vague. But seems like the backstory is thick, full of narrative, which is what makes Dead Space great in the first place, which is why they made a fucking animated movie about it, which was very good. So Dead Space 4, psyched about that. Starfield. Luxurious Hair McGee from Bethesda comes out.
Also known as Todd Howard.
And plugs Starfield. Basically, Bethesda going after that fucking elite, dangerous Star Citizen money. They got the bills to pay the bills. They have a crazy budget, so like that shit might be crazy. But here's a suspect thing. Another trailer with just scenery and fucking vehicles, right? You can crank those out. No offense, but you can. With very little character animation and 0 lip sync. So is that game even started yet? I don't even know. Was that just a tech demo they made that looked really cool? Maybe. Will NPCs still get caught on space rocks? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Oh, props alert. Okay. Yo, what's up, Sarah Bond? Head of Xbox Creator Experience. Black woman executive at Microsoft. Love to see that. Out front, love to see that. She was like one of the first faces on screen, except beautiful hair McGee over there from Bethesda.
He's talking about Todd Howard again.
Head of Xbox Creator Experience. Pause a second. I'm not trying to tear down nobody, but what the fuck does that even mean?
I have have
What does
no
that
idea.
title mean?
I don't know.
You're head of Xbox Creator Experience.
Yep.
Is that like does that mean like if you're an Xbox creator, meaning you're a developer who is published by Microsoft, she's like telling y'all what kind of games to make or green lighting your games? Is that what that means?
Maybe.
Can we get better names out there, people? Because this thing is a fantastically vague title. But I'm very happy that Sarah Bond is making that paper. Props to you, madam. Respect. The tip of my hat is lowered to you, ma'am. And I hope she's helping out other black and brown folks in the industry, especially the ladies over there at Microsoft, because Microsoft, yeah, they have an interesting history. Let's just put it that way. Other things in E3. I checked out Sea of Thieves, the DLC for that with Jack Sparrow. The only reason I'm bringing this up because I don't give a shit about that game at all. Zero. I care zero about that game. But the worst fucking Jamaican accent that I've ever heard on an NPC. What the fucking fuck is going on over there at Rare, yo? Y'all don't know no Jamaicans. None. Y'all living in England. Y'all living in the UK and y'all don't know one fucking Jamaican. Right? Let's say you're the whitest Whiterton on a whiteout block in the middle of England. I guarantee you at least one of the people watching your children is Jamaican. So hire her or him to do the voice of the person who's supposed to be Jamaican in your game. Why are we still doing these cheesy ass fucking what was the name of that woman? Remember that lady who used to be on TV predicting the future and you had an 800 number you could call? Miss Cleo. What the fuck is up with Rare and this Miss Cleo bullshit? Somebody talk to them, please. Please. Anyone in England, just hit up Rare and be like, jolly good, what the fuck?
Cheerio.
You know?
Pip pip.
Okay, oh,
Why?
yeah, okay. Hold on. We're gonna get some live takes because I'm actually still watching this shit. So we're gonna get some live takes right now. I was just in the middle of watching what I thought might have been a Battlefield trailer. That was crazy. Does anyone else just immediately hide chat replay or live chat on YouTube as soon as you get to the video because it's just this distracting fucking string of emojis in the fucking right hand side of the screen? I fucking hate live chat. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm all right. I'm being a little emotional, but I don't like it very much. I don't take part, so I don't want to see it. So I should probably shut the fuck up because I'm not taking part. So it's it's not for me. Yeah, this shit, motherfuckers flying through the air, fighting in some probably not American country, jumping off of buildings, deploying the fucking squirrel suit and flying around a twister. Said like 28 people are playing this game simultaneously right now, and this is the footage from this gameplay. I'm not gonna buy that, guys. I know how these things work. This is like a very controlled server, and did some nice edits and whatnot. It looks like Battlefield. There's a space shuttle blasting off. Motherfuckers jumping off the space. Did I do this? Jump off the space shuttle? Oh, Battlefield 2042. Yeah, I heard somebody else tell me about this. I mean, I won't play it. I'm not that multiplayer dude, but that shit looked good. And that trailer was edited very well. Who was the editor on the Battlefield 2042 trailer? Tell me. Greasy Says, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. On to the next one. I'm just going to go out and say it right now, but Annapurna is basically trying to make movies that are games. This 12-minute shit look lit. To be honest, cool concept. I love all these small games. Give me all these small games any day. Like the big budget stuff, they gotta make enough money to recoup, so their shit is very cookie cutter. But give me the obscure joints, like Psychonauts 2. I mean, come on, bring that shit on. Then there's all the Fallout 76 expansion stuff. God bless Bethesda for holding down an engine for a long ass time. Do you know that the creation engine, that the engine that they used to make Fallout 76, which is their latest in a slew of Fallout games, is using the creation engine? Do you know the creation engine was used to make Skyrim? That's how long ago that fucking engine was made. That's the last time. I mean, they've done updates, but significant branch or like major update hasn't happened in a long time. Bethesda does this. They will ride an engine out. They're still going to be releasing Fallout 76 expansions until 2022. What is it? What's the name of that shit again? Starbridge? Or what is it called? Starfield is the first game on the Creation Engine 2. No wonder they can't show anything on the trailer, because that shit's probably half-baked as fuck. Running on some updated fucking Fallout 76 animations and shit like that. But man, they know how to milk an engine, I'll give them that. Which is cool, because an engine is really hard to make. Like, I'm not a plumber, right? I don't know how code works, but I would assume it's pretty hard building an engine from the ground up. So, respect on them for holding their own engine down for a long period of time. A lot of companies just jump ship, start using Unreal, you know what I'm saying? Oh, new Halo. Who gives a fuck? Okay, what the fuck am I looking at here? Replaced? Looks like some cyberpunk Castlevania Symphony of the Night style. Yo, sign me up for that one. I'm telling you, it's all about the 2D games, and it's all about the smaller games, y'all. Come on. Do I even need to watch any more of this? If I haven't heard of it, it's gonna be great.
Today's key is... Hey, Greasy.
Yeah.
I'm about to piss you off, bro.
Why? Why? Stop playing. What the fuck?
You even ready for this shit?
Spit it out.
What do you think about Crunch, bro? Your favorite.
For this unique segment, I'm going to try to challenge myself. I'm going to try to talk about crunch without using any profanity. Can I talk about a practice that I find so abhorrent without letting any swears by? I tell you what, I'm going to try my darndest.
I'ma try my darndest, my darndest. I'ma try my darndest, my darndest. I'ma try.
Crunch. What a pile of poo. Crunch, if you don't know, is an industry term that essentially means overtime. But imagine if overtime was every day, for days, weeks, months. And imagine if overtime was mandatory. Let's role play, shall we? You're a waiter at Chez Greasy Restaurant, a French vegan taco emporium that made big splashes in LA and landed a cover story in Bon Appetit magazine. One night your boss says,
"Hey, I'm gonna need you to help out with a big cleanup, okay? Every day. For the next, 3 months."
What?
You would balk, right? This is total balk-worthy behavior, no? Now imagine if your boss didn't pay you any extra money for this overtime that you're putting in.
What?
Instead, your boss promised you time off later. So if you work 30 hours overtime, you would get to take 30 hours off once the big cleanup was over and done with. Begrudgingly, you agree.
Okay.
You want to help out. You want to be a team player. You help with the big cleanup for 5 months. The big cleanup turned out to be more of a kitchen renovation. Your arms ache, your lower back has been killing you recently, and you've been seriously neglecting your friends, lovers, and family.
Don't disrespect where you get your sex. Don't disrespect where you get your sex.
You kind of wonder where the time went. Even though you only worked 2 more hours every day, it felt like you never stopped working. It felt like you were in the big cleanup for much longer than 5 months because every day felt longer, harder, and more tiring. But now, you get to take the time off that you were promised. Woohoo!
Yes, woo!
You worked an extra 2 hours every day for 5 months.
Yeah.
That means you've got about 200 hours in the bank, which is 25 days off.
Woo!
So you get almost a month off of work
Yeah.
for 5 months of late nights, heightened stress, dreams about work. Something smells funny.
Yeah.
Maybe it's all the grease trap cleaning you did.
Yeah.
Who knows? Your boss then turns around and informs you that
Shea Greasy has a policy that does not allow employees to take more than 2 weeks off due to overtime.
he assures you that
Of course, since you put in almost a month of overtime, you'll be eligible for the maximum allowed 2 weeks of time off. Thanks for being a team player. Oh, and if you could take all that time off in one shot, that'd be great. Thanks.
you fight down your urge to strangle your boss with his own ponytail. Promises were made, broken, and now you're more tired and spent than ever, even after you take those 2 weeks and binge every murder documentary on Netflix. That's what crunch feels like. It's horrible practice.
You're no good, you're no good, you're no good, you're no good, you're no good.
I've always had this nagging question in the front of my mind every time I think about crunch. Whose fault is it? How do development teams find themselves in crunch? Who's to blame? I think the answer is everyone is sort of responsible for crunch. Executives, product managers, creative directors, or development leads who pitch and sell a game might oversell their game in order to get a publisher deal, right? Then halfway through development, or more likely 3/4 of the way through, they realize that they don't have enough resources to finish the game. But because they promised this expansive, impressive sounding game on paper, they have to deliver, which means you have to crunch. Sometimes designers or coders unwittingly design systems that are overly complicated, that once they start getting built, become a snowball that eats up people and time, which means you have to crunch. Sometimes producers don't add enough pad and don't account for enough losses in productivity during development, which means, again, you have to crunch. Sometimes team members just slack off a lot, y'all. It happens. Enough slacking in small amounts spread over a team and over a long period of time can quickly become loss of productivity, which has got to be made up somewhere. Taste the crunch. Sometimes your QA team is mad skilled and find all the giant holes in your design and code, dropping a container full of bugs right on your bald spot. So many bugs that there isn't enough time in a standard day to fix them all. Guess what? Crunch time. Sometimes, and a bit too often, I will add, senior executives, leads, and publishers pull an audible and decide that they want additional features, tweaks, product placements, their nephew's name and likeness in the game, whatever, and a ton of work gets added to a game that the team thought was almost finished. You feeling crunchy? Sometimes publishers will want to take a new direction on a feature, or more likely on a community/DLC feature, because dollars, right? Or they may have concerns about an element of the game that they can no longer ignore. They may want you to go back to square one on a feature or spin up a new one. And they're paying you, so crunch. Sometimes you get demo requests, something nobody seems to ever be prepared for, let alone multiple demos. Multiple demos on top of the game that you're in the middle of making? That's a crunch. There are a billion reasons, a bazillion, gajillion reasons why crunch comes into effect. But crunch is video games' biggest crutch. They should really call it crutch, not crunch. Unfortunately, people have come to rely on crunch to complete their bloated game that shouldn't have been greenlit in the first place. It's always a card that producers tend to play near the end of a project and is generally accepted practice, which to me is insanity. If you think that crunching now is going to keep you from crunching later, you're wrong. Crunch isn't something you can wean. Crunch is something you have to eradicate. If a studio knows that it can get away with making its employees crunch, they'll do it every single time to protect their bottom line. But the longer we as developers stand for it and accept crunch as inevitable and standard procedure, the more it'll keep happening. And I don't care how good your GTA is, it's never worth a year of crunch.
You're no good, you're no good, you're no good, you're no good, you're no good.
Holy shit, you have no idea how much I wanted to curse through that whole thing. That was really hard. That took strength. I'm so brave. Well, now that we're through that, I can really let loose on this fucking thing, right? About fucking crunch, the worst thing ever. How is crunch even legal? How is crunch legal? How do they get away with this shit? You're asking me to work for free, mad hours for an extended period of time. And if you're in a leadership position, like you're in a manager's position or a lead, you can't be okay with the dev burnout that crunch brings. Like, you have to be looking at your people, thinking to yourself, we can't keep this up. These people can't keep working at this tilt for this extended period of time without them getting completely burned out and then probably gonna leave, quit, jump ship, go to another gig, leave games entirely sometimes because crunch just wears you the fuck down. It's not good. It's not good. And crunch is an especially stressful time, compounded with the fact that you are barreling towards the finish line on a project. So you have the stress of trying to finish this game along with the stress of not sleeping, not eating right, working longer hours. It's burnout city, y'all. Why the fuck are we doing this to people? We need to do better. All of you fuckers out there need to do better. I'm looking at you fucking Rockstar, because y'all crunch like motherfuckers all the time. I'm looking at you CD Projekt Red, because recently y'all got some seriously bad press about crunch. All of you big publishers out there, some of y'all are way better at keeping it hush hush. But this, you can't treat people like this. Like, for example, quick story. Back in the day when I was in QA, I was working with a dude. We was crunching, trying to finish this game. And dude comes in one day and he's like, I don't feel so good. And dude comes in the next day and he's like, I don't feel so good. And he's crunching. He feels like shit, but he keeps working because for whatever reason, like he's trying to impress people. He's trying to move up in the business. He's just trying to do a good job. So he's crunching, not feeling good day after day after day. Turn around and find out the motherfucker had appendicitis. Crunching through his appendicitis, y'all. Dude has a fucking a surgery is necessary to save this dude's fucking life. His body is poisoning him, but he crunching. For what? For some days off down the line? Get the fuck out of here. Dude could have died. Crunching on a stupid fucking game. Are you kidding me? It has to stop. Because the people who are going to succumb to crunch and who are going to crunch harder are always going to be younger heads. Always going to be inexperienced heads who trying to rise up, trying to put in their time, put in their effort, get noticed. So crunch is a way to get noticed. You put in that extra time. You're like a hero because you helped bring the game on home in its time of need. But it never works out in your favor because, like I said before, if you crunch and you agree to crunch, people are going to just exploit that shit next time. So, oh yeah, Ralph crunched last time and he did really well and he killed himself, but nobody really gives a fuck. Guess what? When crunch comes around again, Ralph, we need you to step up, buddy. It's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. It's poison. And, you know, who's to blame? Like I say, everybody's to blame. But real talk, it starts in the fucking boardrooms. It starts with the deals that we're making for these games. It starts with the promises that we're making to publishers. If you don't overpromise and you fucking keep your mouth shut and keep a publisher's expectations realistic, then you may not have to crunch. Because you're saying, listen, I know you want this crazy ass feature, but we don't have the manpower to do that, and it can't be done. And it stops there with you. It stops there with the leads. It stops there with the executives being like, we are not prepared to burn out our developers working on a feature that, frankly, the publishers don't even understand what it takes to make, because they don't. They just like, yo, make a fucking online store. They don't give a fuck what it takes, right? They're paying you, you go get it done. But if you manage their expectations about what this online store is going to be like, then you don't have your team picking up the slack for you and for them. So come on, y'all. We got to end crunch. We got to fucking kill crunch.
Kill crunch. Kill crunch. Kill crunch.
Kill it. You know what? I'll make a t-shirt. Kill crunch. If I get enough people listening to this thing and enough subscribers on this fucking show, I'll make a t-shirt that says kill crunch, and y'all should buy it when I make it. All right. All right. Seriously though, if you have crunch stories that you want to send to me, send them to me. Greasy Says on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Just write to me and tell me horror stories from crunch. If I need check-in on some of my facts, let me know. If nobody's crunching out there anymore, let me know. I really fucking doubt it, though. We got some listener quotes. Love it. I love all the people listening. Thank you again. If you're subscribed, if you're subscribed on Apple Podcasts or follow me on Spotify or subscribed on Google Podcasts, I appreciate you. Thank you. Got some listeners who wrote in or texted me or whatever to tell me about how much they enjoy the show. Like this one. My buddy Arthur just dropped a new episode of one of the most interesting and best produced podcasts I'm digging right now. Check it out for his take on being a brown developer in the games industry. I mean, shit. Dark Moves. What's good? That read like a goddamn commercial. I should just make that a commercial. Beautiful. Thank you for your thoughts. Thank you for listening every time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Here's another quote. Talking about back in, I don't even know what episode it was, but I was talking about how if you had a Nintendo, your ass was rich. Like back in the 80s, if you had a Nintendo, your ass was rich because the shit was mad expensive. Ain't nobody parents was buying that shit when they trying to put PB&Js on the fucking table. And then someone writes in and says, the really rich families had that stupid mat you had to run in place on for that Olympic game, which was actually more boring than the real life Olympics. It was like, holy shit, what's this giant floor pad? This is incredible. And then 15 minutes later, it was in a closet until that rich family moved to a bigger house and threw it out. Preach, homie. The game that he's talking about is Track and Field for the Nintendo. It came with a little mat, like pre-DDR, y'all. Like a little mat they used to run on. The buttons were on the mat. The shit never worked. The shit was busted as hell. And you would just end up, I think AVGN did an episode about this. You just end up on your knees beating the fucking mat with your hands. So it really didn't emulate Track and Field at all. Total gimmick. But if you were a rich family and you had that game, you know what I'm talking about. Expensive ass disappointment, no? And then we have one more listener about when I was talking about how what episode was that? Maybe it was 8, where I was talking about how wasteful conventions are with, you know, their swag bags and boots and pollution and noise and all that shit. Go back and listen to that shit if you want. I think it was the name of the episode is Wasted. So go look it up if you want to catch up. They say, conventions are wasteful and filled with disease. I, and about a third of this office, contacted swine flu from half a dozen people who went to PAX. Facts, y'all. Yo, he's absolutely right. You get them that many fucking nerds. I'm just kidding. You get that many fucking people in one space. It is a super spreader situation, y'all. If COVID had popped off at E3, everybody would be dead. For real. And I remember when the Oculus Rift first came out. Mad people got pink eye. You know why? Because your dumbass with pink eye from eating out somebody asshole who didn't use a tushy puts the fucking Oculus on your eyeballs, takes it off, passes it on to the next motherfucker in line. Boom, the whole line have pink eye now because of your dumbass. So yes, conventions are not only wasteful, but they're a breeding ground for disease. Oh, I'm glad people are out there, are enjoying the show. I appreciate you writing in. Please write in again. Hit me up on Greasy Says on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or as M_CUE on Twitter. That's where I'm at with the tweets. All right, ask me questions on there. Leave me a comment. Do whatever you want. I love the interaction. Thank you, everybody who's writing in. Well, let's talk about crunch and the fuckery. It makes it a perfect time for a little bit of
Medicate and meditate.
We find ourselves once again in the mood for gratitude. Many things happen in our lives, and things just pass us by, and we don't take time to acknowledge and be gracious and have gratitude for the good things in our lives and for the fortunate events in our lives. You can join in if you wish. Choose 5 things that you are grateful for today. It'll make you feel better, I promise. Here's mine. Number 1. I am so grateful for the COVID vaccine. I have received mine. I have been lucky enough to receive mine. And I know many who are lucky enough to receive theirs. But I know a lot of people who do not have a vaccine and are still dealing with quarantine, and some even with curfews. My heart goes out to them, and it makes me incredibly grateful for the position that I'm in, and I hope that all of you will be in my position someday, soon. Number 2, I'm grateful for jazz, because without jazz, I would have never heard of Lambert, Hendrix, and Ross. And that would be sad. Number 3. I'm grateful for beer that is over 6%. As I get older, I tend to enjoy a beer with a higher alcohol volume. And I'm grateful that there are so many breweries who choose to embrace beers with 7, 8, even 9% ABV. Thank you. 4. I'm grateful for Do Not Disturb mode on my phone. When 8 p.m. rolls around, no one can contact me. Unless it's an emergency. That means no texts, no fucking emails, and definitely no Zoom calls. Do not disturb. I am so grateful for you. And 5, I'm grateful for this show and for all of you listeners out there listening. Thank you for your patronage, and I hope that you will share Greasy Says with everyone in your circle. And we can all be greasy together. And with greasiness comes gratitude. And that, ladies and gentlemen, wraps another episode of Greasy Says.
Greasy Says, Greasy Says.
Thank you, everybody, for listening once again. We got another episode in the tank. Signed, sealed, and delivered right to your ear holes, right to your brain waves. Thanks for listening. Oh, and before I go, I got to remind you guys and gals that I'm going to be gone, right? I talked about in a previous episode that I need to take some time off because that's the human thing to do. You got to take care of yourself. You can't be working nonstop all the time. So I'm gonna be gone like pretty much all of August. Depending on when you listen to this, it'll be in the future or it'll be in the past. Who knows? Because people catching up still. But I'll be gone for the whole of August. I'm gonna be on the beach. I'm gonna be fucking scratching orifices. I'm gonna be doing jack shit. Well, hanging out with my kid, hanging out with the family, doing fun stuff. But I'll be back, y'all. I'll be back. For the first week of September, I'll be back, so don't worry. And then I'll be with y'all for the rest of the year. Until my next break, which I don't know. I gotta look at the schedule, but we figured it out when I'm gonna break and all that. When's the best time, blah, blah, blah. So enjoy your August. Stay greasy. And yo, if you miss me, if you're like, where's my Greasy Says? And you realize, oh shit, he's not putting out a Greasy Says for the whole month of August. Reach out to me on social media and tell me you miss me. Tell me you love me. Tell me you can't wait for me to come back and fill up your Wednesday with cursing about video games and shit that happens in the industry. Greasy Says, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I hope that none of you out there are gonna crunch in August. I hope nobody is out there crunching right now. I hope you're all free to enjoy your summer and do what you wanna do with your life. Remember, side hustles, extracurriculars are key, y'all, for that mental health. All right? Greasy people, thanks for coming out. Like, subscribe, comment, give me feedback. Tell me to go fuck myself, and until next time, it's me, Greasy. And I'm checking out with the room key. Laters.